Today we are going to be talking about the Haitian Revolution, but in order to understand the Haitian Revolution, we need to go back and see what Haiti was like prior to the revolution. Before the Haitian Revolution, Haiti was a colony of France and was known as Saint-Domingue. Haiti was also the richest colony of any country and produced 50% of the world's coffee and 40% of the world's sugar. At the time, Haiti was divided into four classes. At the top of the social pyramid were the rich whites, also known as les grands blancs. The rich whites owned slaves and plantations and made all of the profits from selling their crops. Being a rich white put you undeniably at the top of the Haitian social pyramid. The next class is much less clear, and for the sake of this video will be the free blacks, also known as gens de couleur libres. Economically, the free blacks are much better off than the poor whites, as many were rich and some even owned their own plantations and slaves. Although economically worse off than the free blacks, the poor whites, also known as the petite blancs, were better off socially than the free blacks, as they were white. The petite blancs are mostly artisans and poor merchants. At the bottom of the social pyramid, making up 90% of the population, were slaves. Slaves worked under extremely hard conditions, and within a year of their arrival in Saint-Domingue, 50% of them would die. Naturally, all of these social groups had their own problems. The Grand Blancs wanted to be treated like rich whites in France. Also, they had no say in the government, so they faced taxation without representation. The Petite Blancs hated that they were poorer than some black people, and they wanted to be rich like the Grand Blancs. The Free Blacks wanted to be treated like white people, and the slaves had it pretty bad in just about everything. In 1789, the National Assembly in France published the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen, declaring that men are born free and remain free and equal in rights. Every social class in Haiti interpreted this statement as finally resolving their grievances. The Grand Blancs interpreted this as meaning that they were finally equal to the rich whites in France. The Petite Blancs interpreted this as meaning that all white people were now equal. The rich free blacks interpreted this as meaning all rich people were equal. Poorer free blacks interpreted this as meaning that all free people were equal. And most importantly, the slaves interpreted this as meaning that everyone was equal. The slaves' interpretation of this served as the spark which would lead to the slave revolts of 1791. In August of 1791, the slaves led by Toussaint Breda, also known as Toussaint Louverture, revolted against the French in the first successful slave revolt. Facing Spain actively helping the slave revolt and Britain's invasion of Saint-Domingue, France decided to free the slaves in 1704. After this, the slaves switched sides and actually helped France to defeat the Spanish and British forces. At this time, Saint-Domingue was still part of France. Then in 1802, Napoleon's brother-in-law, Charles Leclerc, arrived at Saint-Domingue. A war then ensued after Leclerc attempted to take away the guns of the people of Saint-Domingue. After defeating Leclerc, Saint-Domingue, now led by Jean-Jacques Dessalines, declared itself independent and renamed itself Haiti. In both the French and Haitian revolutions, an overwhelming portion of the population that were underrepresented in the government revolted and eventually gained rights for themselves. Both of these revolutions were also heavily influenced by the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen. Despite these similarities, there are many differences between the two revolutions. The main difference between the two revolutions is when they were most effective. In the case of the French Revolution, the deposed French king Louis XVI was almost immediately replaced by a new authoritarian leader, Napoleon. However, in the long run, France went from being in debt prior to the revolution to becoming one of the richest countries in the world today. The Haitian Revolution, in contrast, had a positive effect in the short term, as all French and Haitian slaves are freed. But due to trade embargoes and debts to France, Haiti was unable to prosper. So Haiti went from being the richest colony in the world to now being the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. So was the Haitian Revolution successful? To put it in the simplest of terms, yes. The Haitian Revolution accomplished what it had set out to do, which was freeing the slaves. Although Saint-Domingue, prior to the revolution, may have been the richest colony in the world, that doesn't mean much when 90% of the population doesn't get to enjoy any of that wealth. After being freed, the slaves, though still very poor, were at least free. As the lives of slaves were greatly improved, the Haitian Revolution was a success. But how does this relate to the modern world? Today, in many countries, there is a great disparity in wealth between the richest few and the rest of the people. The richest people, although still a minority, possess much more power than the rest of the population. The Haitian Revolution shows us what might happen to society if it continues down its current path.